Hello everyone, this is Teri. Today is 21st of June 2024. We have just entered into the Cancer season, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm at Astro Tarot. I'm a practicing astrologer and a tarot reader. So if you would like to learn about my professional services about astrology, chart interpretations and tarot reading, please contact me through the links in my profile. Having said all, today's recording is about the full moon in Capricorn, which will be happening. Let me tell you right away the right time of that is it will be happening on the 22nd of June, which is tomorrow at 0208 UK time, and this would be the first full moon in Capricorn in the Cancer season, and end of the season we will have a second full moon in Capricorn as well. Would be very interesting to have two full moons in Capricorn in only one season. I will not give too much technical details today. I will right away go to the interpretation part, but just to give the idea of where it will be happening. Sun in Cancer, which would be at the 1 degree 07 minutes, would be opposing Moon in Capricorn, again 1 degree 07 minutes, which would be the case that I'm in like a divine opposition in the sky, and I see it like the daytime sea opposing the nighttime land, and the dark in polarity with the light, and the moon gives light in the silence of dark night sky. So, having said this, let's look at the full moon meaning and interpretations, both in general and in specifically about this full moon in Capricorn. So, full moons are generally about completions, sometimes putting an end to some of the things to open place for other useful stuff, which might be more helpful in our journey ahead or reaching a peak. And with new moon, in a way, we start new things, open a fresh page, and during the full moon, we look back, see what served us until this point, and decide accordingly what to leave behind and what to continue with. It might also be considered a moment of seeing the whole big picture with all its details. It's worth mentioning that after new moon, this is only the halfway. That's why we may need to consider what next in the second half of the journey until the next new moon starts. Also, it's the moment of finding a balance, at least trying to find the middle way between our emotional world and identity and self-expression. As moon will be in Capricorn, we might think about having this sense of security when we are more realistic, being more realistic, more like attached to the real part of the world may give us this sense of security. We may also feel the need for being more reserved, as we might have this we might have this fear of vulnerability when it comes to our inner world and emotional expressions. And it is very possible that we may feel much safer when we stick some of the old structure or traditional method. And as Sun is in Cancer, our self-expression may come across as a sensitive, caring, nurturing, tapping into the depth of our emotional world, and to identify ourselves with our home, family, might be all these important identity traits. And in either case, the truth is that we could be there to lead, to initiate, as both Capricorn and Cancer are cardinal signs. So in that sense, since the last full moon in Sagittarius, I decided that maybe I can write these small dialogues between the moon and the sun, because they are on the opposing parts of the sky and they seem to be in polarity, and what comes through them it's like a, in a way, play that we can think about. It's like yeah, a play that we can be putting on the screen, and that it's like there are these roles that are being played by the actors of the main actors of the full moon, the moon and the sun. So here the conversation goes. I will read it, which is better. I have written it down. So when we can start with the moon in Capricorn. I need to make sure that emotionally I can stay within the limits of the real world, not letting anyone to pass the boundaries of my inner world, since that's how I feel safe. I'm afraid of being vulnerable emotionally. But then all of a sudden the sun in Cancer comes and asks, but is it possible to stay in control like this all the time when we are talking about something in our heart? Is it really possible? When someone from your family, your home needs you, you need to be present there, or you may expect the same from them. The sense of caring and nurturing are what makes you you, how you shine in this world. And if this means that for the loved ones, you have to make space for a vulnerable corner, let it be. This is how you find more power, more strength, and more purpose to exist. So as I mentioned, as both of the signs are cardinal signs, there might be this willing to take the lead of things to initiate, which might sometimes create a scene of two goats. In this case, of course, a crab and a goat coming from the different sides of a bridge, and everyone seems to be better in leading the way. It might make life easier, especially maybe more helpful about finding the middle way, the meeting these two different ends on a shared ground. So the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn, which will be still in Pisces during this full moon. And thinking about the possible expression of Saturn in Pisces, we can talk about unrealistic reality, letting go of what causes fear or the pressure of authority in our lives, and loosening the reins if necessary. No problem if we are a bit emotional, dreamy, when the drums of structure, work, effort are marching there. So it's nice to have this sensitive touch in this authority figure in our lives, and it might increase inspiration, artistic quality in the work we do, in the way we walk and climb up. And in that sense, we can feel this Saturn in Pisces impact on this moon in Capricorn, and also on this full moon in general. And the ruler of Cancer is Moon, which will be obviously in Capricorn, and I have already covered that at the beginning. So when we look at the full moon chart, which I will be sharing just now with you, let's see. That's the full moon chart that we are having. I think in this full moon chart, the important thing that we have to be looking at is the main actors of the full moon. Again, the sun and the moon duo seem to have a few important contacts with the rest of the sky, such as Venus, which is in Cancer at the moment, Neptune in Pisces, it's with an analytic degree, and Pluto that is retrograde in Aquarius. In that sense, when we look at the relationship between the sun and the moon with all these celestial bodies, we can say that those historical values and emotional way of relating to people might not be quite in sync with our need to be that realistic soul, while they may be saluting the statue of caring and family oriented quality in our characters. And this is comes through how the uh, the thing is that we see that here moon, sun, and the Venus, and the moon, sun, I mean Venus is opposing moon, and also it's in conjunction with the sun, so it's in unity with the sun, and this expression comes through that. And also there could be this that the ideals, the dreams that we create in deep down of the sea, the oceans, are clashing with these values, our identity and our emotional world, and like having a pull-push effect with them, while trying to bring them to the middle way so that everything goes in the way of these ideals and dreams, how we are dreaming or how we idealize things in our mind or in our hearts. So we can assume that in that sense, when again we look back to the chart, here we see the Neptune creating a T square, what we call with moon and the sun and Venus. No, I think it's only the Neptune. Yeah, Neptune is like, yeah, also square to Venus. Yeah, so we have these Neptune at the head as the apex planet, and we have the legs as the moon, sun, and Venus here. So, but this wouldn't be called a cardinal T square, since the Venus is in a mutable sign, so we can call it the dissociate T square. So having said this small technical part, we can say that the Neptune is the charioteer, and the Venus and Sun on one side, like one horse, and the Moon on the other side, the second horse. It's like quite an inertia we are talking about, a kind of a resistance. And but maybe some productive, creative, and also intuitive energy may come through at the end of the day, all out of this inertia. And we have to also consider that this charioteer is making a maximum effort to reach the end, because the Neptune is in the analytic degree, and they fulfill the requirements of the place it's in Pisces, not knowing that it will bounce back soon before reaching there and going to the and before actually going to the next stage in another place with full of other qualities. And this is how I would actually define Neptune and analytic degree being the charioteer and soon to be retrograde. That's another definition of that. And when we look at the relationship with the Pluto, we see here that is with uh, semi-sextile and quincunx, so with the moon and the sun uh, respectively. It could be easy to tell that there may be a need for adjustment between this full moon energy and the reflection period that we are having about these unusual changes and transformations in a different part of the life. And I think that would be all I will be telling about the chart. So I will be stopping sharing. The last thing is that I like looking at the old farmers almanac, etc., and seeing the definition there, how they define the full moons. And to this year, I mean, this time I looked at the almanac, and I can just quote from there, from almanac.com, full moon June. June's full moon, typically the last full moon of spring or the first of summer, has traditionally been called the strawberry moon. A moon usually appears reddish when it's close to the horizon, because the light rays must pass through the densest layers of the atmosphere. That's the definition of the strawberry moon. So, at the end of the day, this full moon may be about finding the balance between our realistic and emotional worlds, without giving up on what we value, and even though there might be that tough call when it comes to our ideals. So I wish everyone to have a lovely full moon in Capricorn, all the best, and hope to see you in another in other videos. Please stay tuned, keep in touch. All the best. Bye bye.